Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Orlando, and today we're going to be talking about, does closing credit cards hurt your credit? And I got this from a subscriber. They sent me basically an email asking me this question, so I'm just going to go ahead and read it. Okay, Orlando, I enjoy your channel. Can you please help me with a situation? I have 10 credit cards and I want to close some, but I have heard that if you close accounts, your credit score will drop a lot. Is this true? And if so, am I stuck with credit cards that I won't even use? This is a really good question, and I love answering these type of questions because it's one of those that a lot of people don't really understand the reason why their credit score would drop. So let's just jump straight into it and tell you the reason why your credit score would drop and the reason why it's a maybe. So the reason why it's a maybe is it really depends on the utilization of your credit card. I do a lot of churning, which if you don't know what churning is, it's basically trying to get the most out of your credit card through points and whatnot. And after I get done, I don't want to spend, XYZ annual fee on the credit card every year because I've kind of sucked out all of the benefits out of that card. So I go ahead and I cancel the card. Now, I do this, and the question is, does it hurt my credit score? And the answer to that is no. It's because I know what to do and how to avoid it. So number one is the time and the use of the credit. Now, if you have a credit card that you have been using for the last 10 years, then you don't want to get rid of that card. You do not want to get rid of that card. Why don't you want to get rid of that card? Because you have 10 years of credit on use on that card. You don't want to get rid of your biggest credit card as far as age goes because you will drop down the age of your credit. And what is the age of your credit? So your average credit account age is basically the length of your credit history for each account, and then it's combined, and then that's where you're giving the age. So let's do an example here. So if you have a credit card that you've been using that's 10 years old, and then you have 3 credit cards that you've been using for 1 year each, and you take away the 10, then your average age of your credit would be 1, right? It would be 1. So if we go ahead and put the 10 back in, it would come out to about 3.25. So if you look at that, you see the big difference by keeping the 10 in and taking the 10 out. And so you don't want to do that. You want to keep the 10 in because it helps with the age of your credit. Now, a lot of people would say, well, what if I'm not using that card? What if it's just dead and I don't like using it because it has high interest or whatever? I would say that if it's a major part of your credit that you need to continue to use it. And at the very worst, you just keep it on your account until the credit card lender cancels the card. But I would continue to try to use it to kind of keep it active, pay it off, and then keep that on as your credit history because it's a big portion of it. So I would not touch that. Also too, in the aging portion, one of the things that I want to make sure that everyone knows is that when you do close, if you were to close a credit card, let's just say it did have 10 years and you just wanted to get rid of it, it will stay on your credit for 7 years or so. So it will not disappear immediately. You will get a ding on your credit for the average dropping down as far as active, but it still will be on your credit for 7+ years. It won't disappear immediately. So you don't have to worry about it just clobbering your credit, your score. So I would really look at those things. So once again, when it comes to the age of the credit, it will not immediately take effect because you do have 7 years of where it's still going to be on your credit. And you don't have to really worry about it happening immediately. Okay, so number 2 is, and this is big, guys, is credit card utilization. And this right here is one, you should put a star next to this because it is very important. What do I mean by credit card utilization? It is basically how much you use the credit card, basically. So for instance, let's just say you have a $100 credit limit and you use $50 of it. That's a 50% usage. So you used half of it. So that's how the credit card utilization is determined. And high credit card utilization, I would say anything above 20% is considered high utilization, and it starts knocking down your credit. So you want to stay below 20%. So what happens if you have credit cards and they have balances on them? So let's do an example here really quickly so that you can understand exactly what I'm talking about. You have two credit cards and they both have $1,000 credit limit on it. You follow me, right? So one credit card has no balance on it. And then the other credit card has, you're using all of it, using the full $1,000 on it. So the question is what is the utilization on both of those cards? It's 50%. Now, is that high? Yes, that is high. It's still high. And your credit score is probably going to drop. But let's say you go ahead and you cancel one of the cards, the card that you don't owe anything on. So now you have a credit card usage of just one card that is $1,000, which is 100% utilization. The question is will your credit score drop? You betcha it will. So the thing is it depends on how your credit situation is. Do you owe anything on these credit cards? Accompanied with the age of the credit card. Is it a 10-year card that that you've been using forever? No, don't get rid of it. That's number one. It doesn't matter about utilization at that point. So I want you to follow these steps in the order that I'm giving you. You first look at it and you go, hey, is this a really aged credit card account? If it is, leave it alone. Okay. 2, if it's not, then you start going into the utilization. Do I have a big balance? And if I take away this credit card, away, what happens to my utilization? Does it shoot my utilization up? Does it keep my utilization down? And if it keeps your utilization down or it doesn't change your utilization and you want to get rid of the credit card, you can, and it won't hurt your credit score. Now, I do want to add there are some exemptions to these, right? And I just want to add these in here. If you're going through a separation or a divorce, yeah, you can do it then. You have to do what you have to do. If you feel that the annual fee is just too high and you feel like I'm not going to pay $1,000 or $500 in an annual fee every year and just waste money, then yes, I can understand that. But the real question about annual fees is, why did you get into the annual fee to begin with? Were you getting it just so that you can get the bonuses in the beginning and then you were going to cancel it anyway? If that's the case, then you already kind of know what the situation is. I would never suggest a beginner to get into a high annual fee credit card to begin with without knowing these basic essentials of how it will affect your credit. And then another situation would be if you feel like having all of these credit cards is too tempting, you don't have the discipline to hold on to the credit that you have available without going out there and doing a shopping spree, and that you feel that you need to knock it down to stop temptation. And if that's something that you know that's within yourself, then I think that it's always best, instead of spending the money, get rid of it. Get rid of the chance or what's ever tempting you to do it. But one of the things that I want to say about that is that you do need to figure out why you have such a why you're so motivated to actually spend, and try to figure out ways to get disciplined so you won't have to worry about every time that you open up a credit card, you're going to max it out because you're so tempted. And I think that's one of those financial education issues that you need to jump on ASAP. So guys, if you got value out of this content, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification, and hit that like button because it really helps out my channel as normal. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.